Hello, and it looks like we are live on YouTube here. Let me just check and see if we are. Oh boy, I hope we're getting sound here. This is audio's good. Okay, good. All right. So for whatever reason, we've got it turned off there, but good. Hey, everybody. Always nervous about the sound, even when we test and test and test before everything gets going. So excellent. We are good to go. As you can see, I am joined this week by my beautiful wife, Melissa.
Hello.
And we are doing this live because why not? Live is always more anxiety filling, but fun at the same time because we get the direct interaction, and I love doing that. Plus, I wanted to offer some proof of life of Melissa because I thought some of you might wonder. Oh, hey, thanks, New3, for that little super chat there. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, because I thought, some of you might be a little suspicious that she wasn't appearing on Wednesday when we did our call-in show, and thought my cover story might have been a little weak. So, anyway, hey, Denmark. Hey, New Zealand. All right, all is well. Okay, now we had some... Oh, yeah, there's our little alert box with the super chats there. Hey, Los Angeles. All right. Well, we have already started getting questions in, and this is a Q&A show, so I think we're going to get to the questioning. I wanted to, let's see, did I want to say anything specific beforehand? No, let's just get to your questions. Okay, so... the first one that I saw up here. Oh yeah, how are you? You want to tell them how you're doing?
I'm doing a lot better. I still have a teensy weensy bit of sick feeling, but I'm doing a lot better.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a little bit of ups and downs on all of that. What we're happy about is that there isn't any real COVID-19 symptomology.
I mean, there is a couple things, but nothing. Not too much respiratory stuff.
Right. So we're hoping that things will just keep being smooth and it'll just be a couple bumps in the road as opposed to a boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's how she's doing. All right. So we're just going to start. Hey, Flint, glad you're here with us. Your R2-D2 is unbelievable, dude. I mean, off the charts, amazing. This guy, Flint Reed, is out in the UK, and he produced that Han Solo blaster, which I had featured on my wall for a very brief moment before before people got a little upset about it pointing at my head or whatever. I'm still trying to figure out a way to get it back there so that it still can be shown because it's a beautiful piece of work. But he went on to create a full life-size original old school cool R2-D2 like right out of the first Star Wars, and it's awesome. So Flint, there's your shout out because you deserve it. Now you asked a question here also, which is both of us.
Yeah.
So which is the best Star Trek captain and why? I'll take this question because I'm about Star Trek all day long, but what do you think, baby?
Well, I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, the original lovers, but I love Captain Picard. That's what I grew up on, was the Next Generation, so
all right.
He's my favorite.
And I, of course, am Kirk. And I think it's just a multi-generational thing. I don't know that it's really like that Kirk is really truly better than Picard or vice versa. I think it's just that's who she grew up with. That's who I grew up with. Trying to just tiptoe around all that controversy because I could easily start becoming fanatical about that. That is not difficult for me to go, screw all you people. It is Kirk, period, All right. Okay. And then Orange Crush, let's just go down the line here. Orange Crush is asking us, how about addressing the Karen question? Does she still believe in Scientology, or has she moved on and now acknowledges it's a con? All right, so I will speak to this without having to get into any of this other nonsense. I will say that as far as my experience with Karen goes, And what she has told me directly and repeatedly is she is not and has not been auditing or using Scientology, doing independent Scientology as a practitioner for years now. And how many years? I don't know. You know, she's out in LA. I'm here. I talk to Karen infrequently at best. So she told me that. I believed her. And that is really the only claim that I'm making as far as any truth claims about any of that. As I said in my original answer or statement on all of this, she told me that, and I believe her. And if you watch the video that I made about the death of her son, I think it's called like a Scientology tragedy or in 3 acts or something like that. That is, oh, hey, thanks for the super chat, Flint. All right, man. If you watch that video and you see what she says and her sort of statements, I guess I don't know if testimonials is the right word, but what she says there, it is crystal clear that that she is over Scientology, and she knows that it was Scientology and her mistakes with it that contributed directly to the death of her only son. And I'm just not down with, you know, beating on trauma survivors in any direction for much of any reason. And that's why I just kind of like, could we just move on from this drama? Anyway, so that's my answer on that. All right. Who was the architect of, Steve Wood asks, who was the architect of LRH's death announcement at the Palladium in 1986? And how on earth did all those people buy that story, which was so obviously a ploy to keep the money flowing? From the outside, it definitely looks like a ploy to keep the money going. But from the inside, and I will just keep stressing this because this is how it is, people want to believe. They need to believe. And people believe what they need to believe. You know, I used to say that people believe what they want to believe. And from a certain point of view, that's true. I hold to that. But I think it's a more impactful and maybe more accurate statement to say people believe what they need to. And I was actually talked to Rachel about that, and she agreed. And so when you have someone who you revere, who you almost, not exactly as I understand it, but almost worship, like almost, or like, you know, you're in awe of this person. You can't believe the amount of things that they managed to pull off and accomplish in their life and all of that. And then they die. Well, you know, you'd want to believe that the mythology that you've bought into maintains and is continuing to be true. And that is that he's flitted off to Target 2 or whatever, and he's off doing research. And, you know, he did. And none of the data that we have now about what happened when he died, none of that was available at all to any of those people at that event. The only source of information about L. Ron Hubbard for years was the Church of Scientology. So, and that's where Scientologists got their information from. So that's why they believed it. And I'm pretty sure the architect of that whole thing would have been David Miscavige and the other people who were on that stage. The Earl Cooley, the non-Scientology lawyer, I'm sure played a big part in that. And but everybody who was on that stage knew what actually happened. And they, you know, created that myth anyway. So, all right, let's move on here. I think we've answered how Mel is feeling. Oh, did we get another super chat?
Yeah.
Yay! Love them super chats. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Keep going, low and down. Oh, hey, thanks, Chad. All right. I love super chats. All right, but I love questions even more. Let's get back to them. So. Let me whip out my glasses here. All right, audio's good. Don't listen to anyone else. That's right. Great to see you both. Hey, LA. Okay. Oh, Andy H027 asks, does Scientology care more about ideology or making money? Scientology is a money-making scam at its heart. That is what it is. If you break it all down and you go past all the smoke and mirrors and everything else, it's there to make money. enrich the founder or leader. And that's it. Everything else around it, the ideology, the belief system, the mythology, all of it, it's very intricate, it's very convoluted, it's very complicated, but it's all smoke and mirrors. And really, it's all just a shakedown. Okay. And yeah, somebody, oh dude, did you think we thought you had Shelley'd her? Oh, you guys are hilarious. All right. Hello from TGAC, England, Portugal, Tokyo. God, I just love doing this show. All right. Let's see. I need to text you this week with an update. Chris will explain my absence. Cool, Steve. Please do. All right. Why do you have your call-in show when it's 3 a.m. in Europe and this live Q&A on this time? Oh, Fred asks about the timing on things. I did the call-in show timing for Wednesday at 7 o'clock our time because I didn't want to cut across friends of mine who have shows already on the weekend that are call-in shows, live call-in shows. So on a regular basis, the live Q&As we do sort of, every now and again. We, every month or two, I decide to do one. Was that another super chat? Yep. Awesome. Thank you for that. But I didn't want to make it a regular thing and get into competition with them, and that's why that is that way. At some point in the future, I might switch it over and switch the podcast to Wednesdays and switch the call-in show to Saturdays. But that's why. Oh yeah, there we go. Preacher 1138. So that's why the scheduling is the way that it is. Right or wrong, good or bad, it's just how I chose to do it and try to get it going. So, all right. Newfoundland. Wow. Okay. Thoughts? Oh, I wish I could speak to that. I've only seen headlines about the Hana Kimura Japanese female professional wrestler suicide. I don't know anything about that in order to be able to comment on it.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's...
Yeah, it really does. Never a good time. I'm sorry. I wish I could speak more directly to that. If there's a more broad question on that topic or something, maybe we could talk about that. But I can't speak intelligently about that issue, about that matter at all. Phil Acoustic Chaos asks, do Sea Org members buy clothes on base or do they have to go off base? Uniform parts are provided by the Sea Org on base. There's a uniform exchange and a uniform in charge whose whole job it is to uniform the crew. And then underwear, socks, regular normal clothes you buy yourself off base. They don't have regular clothes on base. At least they didn't when I was there. Okay. Oh, Sean says he likes the podcast about wokeness this week. Am I planning on having James Lindsay back soon? I can, absolutely. I love talking to him, and there's certainly no shortage of other things to talk about, diving down that rabbit hole of critical theory, and I'm fascinated by it myself, and I got to get Melissa up to speed on them, because then we'll both be on the same page on it, but... Yeah, I definitely plan on having Dr. Lindsay back as a guest. All right. Flint, R2D2 says boopity boop. That's awesome, man. I tell you, that R2D2 is really, it's something else. You showed me that picture. That was pretty neat. Yeah. Yes, that's right. The gun's based on the German Mauser. I knew that. Back when I was a kid, you guys might find this amusing. I don't know, or completely boring. I'm not sure, but... back when I was a kid, I used to go hang out at the Pasadena Public Library, which is a huge library, for like all day Saturdays. I'd just go out there, I'd just ride my bike over there and hang out. And I would go to the kids section, and I really liked historical stuff, costumes, things like, and old mythology. I read all the Greek mythology and Roman stories and stuff. But I would also go over to the reference section and look for that gun, because I was really into Han Solo. like really into Han Solo. And when I found out that that gun looked just like the German Mauser, I was like looking for all the pictures I could find coming out of World War II of the German Mausers because I just really admired that style of weapon. Just because of Star Wars, not because I was into shooting people. Anyway. All right. So moving right along. All these. I'm looking earlier on the comment section. Probably later, they're all like, "Chris is a nutter." All right. When DM, no education, tells parishioners, this is JB on the streets asking this. When DM tells parishioners their spiritual journey will crash if they read both sides, do the best Sea Org believe him, even though he obviously reads both sides himself? Yeah, actually, it's L. Ron Hubbard who tells them that their spiritual journey will crash. The materials of Dianetics and Scientology are crystal clear on this point of not going anywhere near any connection to a suppressive person. And how that's interpreted in Scientology is that if you are reading things that suppressive people write or watching videos that suppressive people make, then you are connecting yourself to a suppressive person. And that connection is what cuts your spiritual progress in Scientology, in your forward progress in life. Because us SPs are all about being not just anti-Scientology, but also antisocial. And so our advice, our guidance, our words, everything that we say as SPs is intended, craftily constructed and intended to worsen your life, make you worse, make your life worse. We're leading you down the primrose path, so to speak. So that's the policy in Scientology and the tech of Scientology. And that's why Scientologists have to avoid connections with SPs. And that's why they can't listen to them. And, another super chat. Love those super chats. Thank you. Awesome. Which one's that one? From Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. All right. So I hope that explains that. If not, ask more further questions about it, JB. All right. Last podcast was awesome. Thanks, Alexandria. All right. Picard on TNG. So, place the mic a little closer because they can't hear you so well when you are speaking. She speaks much more softly than I do. I've actually got the volume cranked up on her mic a little bit too. I'll crank it up a little bit more. Like Star Trek Discovery. Oh, they're gonna do a series about Captain Pike. Now that could be interesting. That could be interesting if they do it right. All right, great answer. Like you start off with the heavyweight stuff first. All right. Do you definitely best educating the basics? Remember you said you want to talk about Karen Malone. Yep, exactly. I thought this might be amusing if on the call-in show, because I'm actually not going to take up any more Mango stuff here, but if it comes up on the call-in show,
I'm just going to start talking to people in this voice when I'm addressing that issue in any way, shape, or form, and see what they think about that.
I don't get to use my voices nearly enough. Hope that came across well. All right. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome, Steve. All right. Thomas Angelo is asking me. Yeah, thanks for pursuing this with me, Thomas, because I did see your screenshot, but I don't know what's up with that because when I go to Charlie Wakely's YouTube channel, I see my questions to him in the comment section on the videos. I put 2 comments on his videos, and when I checked back 2 days ago, they were both still there. I have no explanation to you, Thomas, as to why they're not appearing to you, because they appear to me. That's all I can say about it. Okay, let's see here. What was that? Going back up here, yes, good. This is a great question. Tower Vault. How did Xenu even know his people had Thetans to be messed with? How were Thetans doing before Xenu messed things up? No one ever asked this question, and it's actually a good question because Hubbard only drops a couple hints to this here and there. I really wish, being a sci-fi writer, you'd think this guy would have created a more complete
Yeah.
cosmology.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Okay, so here's what he said. He said that there is a galactic council out there that is sort of half aware or half spiritual Thetan being and meat body. And this galactic council kind of runs things out there. But I was never really clear how that council was connected with Markab and Xenu and this Espinal system. These are the names he gave them. He said that there's this united series of planets and stars that make up this little cluster of the universe of our galaxy is like 13 suns with habitable planets around them, and that was the Espinal star system or the Markab Confederacy. If I'm remembering all this right, these two things are the same or virtually the same. And there was an awareness back then that you did live forever, and that bodies actually lived for a very, very, very long time. And really, the only way you could get out of having a body was to go get it killed. And so there were sports. Hubbard talked about racetracks especially, but there are other dangerous sports where people would throw themselves into these, car races where the cars are going 1,000 miles an hour and stuff, right? And he told stories about this all in a lecture called The Free Being. And if you can find that lecture somewhere called The Free Being, you are going to hear some amazing fairy tale sci-fi stories. So anyway, so there was an awareness of this. Apparently sex wasn't as big of a thing. Making new bodies was not a huge deal because people lived in their bodies for a really long time. But then, Hubbard posits this kind of fundamental difference in society, but then says that they looked and acted a lot like 1950s America with fedora hats, fire trucks, houses, picket fences. Hey, Sean, thanks for that super chat. And a pretty kicked in the head, he called it, kind of society, very similar to 1950s Earth. So you go, how are those two things supposed to go together? Because if we all knew that we lived forever and that these bodies were very temporary things,
we'd behave very differently.
You think? How do you think we would act differently if we knew
like you were
that?
just saying, if we knew we could just hop bodies, we'd probably be a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I think we'd be more into danger.
Yeah.
Because if you knew, I could throw myself off this cliff.
Yeah, I could fight this bear.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think, blood sport would take on a whole different morality because, you grow a body, build it up Schwarzenegger-like, and then get out there and pummel with other guys until you're dead. But nobody cares because you're just going to go get another body, you know? It would be like the death of a TV character rather than the death of a real living person as we now think of it, I think society would be radically different. So that's my take on that. But thanks for asking about that. There's a lot of other, things to know in the Scientology cosmology, but those are a few of the things I can tell you out of Hubbard's ramblings that are more to the Xenu story than people ever usually talk about. And that's why I always am out there saying, look, the things you guys know about Xenu from South Park and all that, it's actually only about this much of the story, and there's a lot more to it. So, all right. Bunker shout out. All right. Okay, Neon Cat. What are my thoughts on how the city council is handling the Church of Scientology in Clearwater? I expressed this on Twitter this week. The city council of Clearwater is basically scared. They're cowards, and it's not like I don't understand why they would be that way, especially as non-Scientologists, unfamiliar with it, except from an outside point of view where Scientology actually looks even scarier and darker and more foreboding than it really is. For us X's, we actually have more inside skinning. We know this, the people involved. We know they're not all that. We know how the fair gaming kind of works, and so it's not quite as scary as it can be to people who don't know about that and kind of wonder where the private eyes are and where are the Scientologists, are they coming to get them, this kind of thing. So I get it, but I still don't give them a pass. I give them no pass whatsoever. It is their job to deal with the safety and security of Clearwater, and they are not doing that job if they're not taking on Scientology. So, yeah, kind of my basic take on that. Oh, Preacher's question is beautiful. If R2-D2 and BB-8 got into a fight, who would win, and would it be a long fight? Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
BB-8's kind of resourceful.
That's true.
I don't know. What do you think?
That's hard. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I think R2 would take him out, but I think BB-8 would have to be into fighting because BB-8's so
He's
fast.
Pretty, yeah.
He could
just run away.
Yeah, he'd just take off.
Like, I'm not into this.
Yeah, I don't think R2-D2 could keep up with him, but I think if they were just like
power to power,
yeah, if they were just going at it mano-y-mano, I think R2 would take him out. I mean, he's got all those little things that he's got in there that he can whip out. I never, by the way, I will take this opportunity now publicly to address this question that nobody's ever asked me, that I think it's ridiculous that R2-D2 ever flew. He should never have been granted the power of flight. That was bizarre. I think they wrote themselves into a corner or some nonsense. I don't know what that was about. Jeff Scott asked, do you talk to Mr. Bunker? I do. And I've had him on my podcast twice, which is pretty much where I talk to him. But we are Facebook friends, and I have had, some correspondence with him from time to time. Okay. Oh, topic of cyberbullying and lack of accountability for what we say online is what I was asking about more specifically. Zeb says, great. I'd like to get your take on this first. In terms of that Japanese thing, what he's asking about is cyberbullying and the lack of accountability of that. Okay.
Well, I don't know too much about her story, but yeah, with cyberbullying, I think it can be just as awful as, face-to-face bullying. And I don't know with her specifically, but I know a lot of women that are famous or even semi-famous YouTube stars or whatever, they get some weird cyberbullying, very I'm going to rape and kill you kind of stuff. And it's like, how can you see that every day that all these people want to hurt you and not take that on some level personally and maybe do something bad? It's just, we got to be nicer to each other. Don't cause that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It is impossible to regulate morality because you're always running 2 steps behind and people are just going to do what they're going to do. So it's so somehow we have to change how we have adopted. We need to see change in how we act online.
Yes.
I don't, we don't act that way in real life unless we're complete asshats. And yet online, we all get to be asshats and it's okay. Everybody gets a pass and they shouldn't. We've got to bring, this even gets to be such a contentious thing that even when I say this, I could potentially just get an avalanche of shit for it. Right. And that is, let's be civil.
Yeah.
That's like that became a dirty word somehow. Having manners, treating people with respect, understanding that other people have different life experience and different views and education than you do, and they're coming at things from a different point of view. Everything's awful, everything's horrible. If you disagree with me in any way, you are Hitler or Satan or something. And we see this, every day. We all know people who do this. So, it's bad. And I need to practice what I preach just as much as everybody else does. So I'm really trying to make efforts at that. I really am. Because it's hard.
It is hard.
Because it is admittedly a lot easier to hurl awfulness at people, to even cyber stalk them, follow them from platform to platform and give them a hard time, want to ruin their life, and you don't even actually know this person. You just are convinced that because of some position they hold or some series of statements they made, that they are evil and they must be destroyed. And yes, there are people who are evil and we want to destroy them, but it's not in the numbers that
No.
that we act out. That's absolutely true. So that's kind of my shorthand take on it. The other thing about this, I don't know, is it really a free speech thing?
I think, though, with free speech, you have free speech until you start infringing on other people's rights. Like, so if you're bullying someone, and I don't know if that's free speech or not, if you're saying things that are that harmful, I don't know.
Well,
Sure,
I'm
I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but
well, I tweeted this morning, and I got to thinking about this as a sort of a free speech argument because, Dave Pacman was on Rogan's show a few days ago, and they were talking about this issue of free speech and what people say and do online, and it's just distantly related to this question, so it made me think of it. But I think the disingenuousness of the free speech arguments that are flying around, and this is nuanced, so I'm trying to shorten it, but it's like you've had the right to say whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. You've always had that right. What you don't have the right to is to be free of the consequences of what you said.
Yeah, exactly. Like if
we're done.
If you call some guy an asshole and he punches you in the face, well, that's what you get.
Basically, should people be going around punching people in the face because they call them an asshole? No, but you gotta weigh. You gotta look at the situation you're in. You gotta weigh the room. You gotta figure things out, and be appropriate, right, for the circumstance. So, and that seems to not apply online as much. We need to change that.
It's so much harder online to get people in trouble because of the anonymity, and too, because anybody can make up a name. It could be the same guy with 40 different accounts that's harassing some chick online, and she doesn't know that. And how do you get that guy in trouble? How do you track that guy down?
Exactly. And then there's the bots.
Mm-hmm.
There was a report, like half of the tweets that are going out right now about not staying home, about getting out, about half of those tweets are bots.
They're all bots.
So we're not even engaging with human beings when we think we are. Apparently, on that topic, half the time. So, this is another thing that we've got to somehow clear out of the internet, and I don't know how to do it. But I do know that if we don't,
it needs to be like jail time if you do that. That's how you get rid of that.
Well, bots aren't illegal.
Well, they should be.
Well, that's kind of I'm wondering about how we should deal with that. That's for sure. Now, I realized we did not throw the chats on the screen, so let's go ahead and change screens there so y'all can see the comments as we're going. All right, getting back to your questions, Rasha Sadine asks, have you had communication with Scientologists who started showing doubts in their beliefs, whether or not they followed up with that? A couple. Over the years, I have had a couple still online, still active Scientologists. Actually, more than a couple. Probably two hands. I think I could probably count it on two hands. Number of people who are still actively doing services in Scientology, not under the radar, but actively still doing stuff, who've contacted me and talked to me about stuff. It's few and far between, but it has happened. Okay. Nobody home here asks, in LRH's axiom number 1, is the static he says that life is the same as saying life is nothing, meaningless, yet can perceive and create meaning. I guess from a certain way of looking at it, a static is nothing. It doesn't. I always say it doesn't exist in physical universe terms. It doesn't have. There's no matter or energy connected with it in any way. It doesn't exist in space and time the way we do. It's beyond all that and creates all of this through consideration or postulates or thought. So meaningless. Ultimately, yeah, Thetan has no significance connected to him of any kind. He doesn't exist in the physical universe and yet has existence through awareness. Hubbard also calls Thetans an awareness of awareness unit. They're aware of being aware. So what may make of that what you will. Okay, Orange Crush asks, when you were the naval uniforms in public, when we wore the naval uniforms in public, did you feel pride or a sense of embarrassment or neither? Both. Actually, I'll say both, depending on the situation. But most of the time, a little embarrassed. I always wondered if I always felt like a little bit of a faker. And I was deathly afraid of running into other military. And I did have, yeah, because I'd be wearing this Class A with the chain and the ranks. And I there was one guy, another recruiter, who used this line in public, and I always sort of laughed, but thought it was a good line, and I used it a couple times. When people would ask what branch of the military are you with or whatever, I'd say special peacekeeping forces.
Oh my God.
Yes, I said that. It's awesome. So yeah. Chad B asks, any thoughts of an interview with Chuck Beatty? Yes, I have actually tried. Chuck himself admits that he is a very difficult interview because he talks a lot. And he said this. I'm not, casting shade at Chuck. He is amazing. And I wish I could just get in there and with an ice cream scoop or something and just like take all the knowledge he's got, because it's just legion what that guy knows about Scientology and his experience with stuff. And he's read stuff none of us have seen. And that hasn't leaked out of the church ever, and may never will. But he's difficult to interview. I did actually try, and I actually had to stop the podcast because it just wouldn't go in any way that was going to really work. So, Jeffrey Augustine interviewed him one time. He got him on a podcast, and he did a pretty good job. So I recommend checking that out. But that's why I haven't had him on my channel. Neon Cat asks, how is the foundation doing lately? Are there many people trying to leave the Church of Scientology in the past few months due to COVID-19? I do not know. I'm not officially connected with the Aftermath Foundation. I only endorse and promote it because it's a good thing to do. But I don't know their inner workings or how many people are contacting them or what's up with that. And I'm not in regular communication with the Aftermath board members to find out. Oh, yes. L. Ron Hubbard asks, Chris, can you comment on latest St. Hill telephone conversation? This is yes, I can. This was in, this question has to do with a Tony Ortega post where Phil Jones was recorded a conversation he had with a Scientology staff member who called him, a Sea Org member from St. Hill in the UK. Phil and Willie Jones have been declared. Their kids are disconnected from them. And that they're calling him to talk to him about Scientology, not knowing he's a declared SP.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, shenanigans ensued. And Phil decided to record the conversation, and he challenged this guy. And he didn't tell him straight off who he was or that he was a declared SP. He just strung him along and got him to admit that, or got him to basically say that disconnection from his kids is basically fine, and, Scientology's in the right and all that. So, I just, my simple comment on it is that it is a beautiful demonstration of an extremist mindset that doesn't appear, by the way that it sounds and looks, calm, mild-mannered, nice man, just calling to get in communication, see how things are going. It doesn't sound like this crazy, that it's coming from a crazy place, but
Right.
It is. That guy's like, he's totally lost the plot. But he's absolutely convinced, as the Scientologist I'm talking about, obviously, absolutely convinced that black is white and up is down, that disconnecting from your own kids or your kids shunning you is a really, really great thing to do, simply because you decided that you didn't want to do Scientology anymore. That's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is. Okay. Jeff Scott, looking forward to walking to the Auckland Org with your t-shirt on. take pictures. Send me pictures.
Oh
I
my
want to see
God,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, pictures or it didn't happen. Okay, Gina Ocker asks, what do you think about the racketeering of Church Scientology down in Clearwater? I think a lot about it, Gina. In fact, I've done a whole podcast about it, or 2 or 3. Check out my Sensibly Speaking podcast with Mark Bunker and with Jeff Wassel about Scientology and their takeover of Clearwater. We talked for hours about this, and I had a lot of thoughts about it, so I don't want to do that an injustice by trying to summate that into 2 sentences right now. There's a lot to be said about that subject. Yeah. Okay. Keith Lee asks, what do you think of new Tom Cruise's movie being filmed in outer space?
Oh,
He says, I
How's
hate
that?
to admit, but I'm really looking forward to it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that he was doing that. How are they going to do that?
With Elon Musk's help.
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe he'll die.
Oh, God. I don't want Tom Cruise to die in space, okay? Jesus.
I
All
don't
right.
know. That's so weird. I feel like that's so dangerous, you know? Like someone could get hurt or
Hey, Teresa, thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess there's a first time for everything though.
Yeah.
How, like is it just going to be like in a spaceship or is it going to be like okay.
Yeah, he's going up into space to shoot up there.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that it fits Tom Cruise's personality to a T, that he is bucking to do that. And I am surprised and disappointed. Not surprised, disappointed though that Elon Musk would work with him and help him to do that. But Elon Musk is a bit of a mad scientist, mad genius type. And I don't really trust him any farther than I can throw him, even though I really, really like some of the ideas that he has. And I really like that he is able to make some of those ideas come into fruition. I am very concerned about his moral compass. Anyway, so yeah, Tom Cruise in space. I mean, somebody had to do it first.
That's
so
true.
Of course
That's true.
Tom Cruise is going to step up. I mean, really, that's like, and I can't just be black and white about Tom Cruise anymore like I kind of wanted to be and have kind of kept myself being for a while, if that makes sense. Because even I have to admit, Tom Cruise, sets up some charities that are pretty amazing. And oh, another super chat, thank you. And he does do some good work. But I still can't stand to watch his movies.
It's hard.
And
Yeah.
I still can't stand the guy as a person. I just can't, But if he inspires other people to do good and do better in life and that kind of stuff through some of the work that he's doing, then I can't knock that. All right. Your comments are shadow banned. Yeah, get out, Keith. All right. Fred Phlogiston, are people still leaving Scientology on a great number like a couple of years ago? I don't think so. I think we are now. This is just totally, Fred, I'm going to tell you, this is 1000% my psychic powers here. Okay. I don't know, but my sense is that, that within the world of Scientology, they really have kind of shrunk down to their most extreme core. And the family and friends of that extreme group of people who cannot or just simply will not disconnect from them or won't say anything or go out of the church because they don't want to lose their family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty much where it's at now, is it's gotten down to like that kind of group. Sure, new people come in and people leave still on a daily basis, but I don't think we're seeing floods of people leaving anymore like we did when it was being so heavily exposed. I think that we got the mileage we wanted to get from that exposure, and we've stopped a whole lot of people from going in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see waves of defectors at this time. I could be totally wrong, though. It's just the sense that I get. All right. Who the SPs are. A long time to find who the SPs are. Okay. You can see it, but no one else can. Oh, okay. Thomas, thank you. He's telling me to check the comments on another account.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll check it out. Thank you. Don't know if that's didn't know that was possible, so I will check that out.
There was another super chat.
Oh, okay. Sean's and
Negaduck.
Negaduck. Thank you. Thank you, Negaduck. We're getting some great super chats.
Yeah,
you
we
guys
are.
Awesome. You guys are just awesome. Yeah, Hubbard was no Douglas Adams after all.
That's for sure.
Damn sure.
Oh, Douglas Adams. Awesome.
The best. The best. Okay, let's show this one. All right, Rasha Sadine asks, are you looking forward to Denis Villeneuve's new Dune films? Frank Herbert had a much more complete cosmology than Hubbard ever did. Yes, he did, and I really hope that they get it right this time.
Let's just do one voiceover.
Yeah, amongst many, many, many other things. Let's not do heart plugs.
Yeah.
Let's do ornithopters that actually have wings, so they actually look like they're flying, not these little stubby things sticking off the sides. It's amazing to me that, what is it? It was in the 80s that movie came out,
so.
and I still remember that crap because it just assaulted my reality so much. When David Lynch's Dune came out in the 80s, I was in high school, and I went and read the book in anticipation of the movie coming out. Loved the book. Movie sucked. The only good thing about it was Sting.
Yeah.
I loved Sting.
Yes.
He was so over the top amazing in that movie. They did a Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, Dune, which was a lot better. Still didn't quite get it. And I don't know from the preview shots I've seen of the new Dune movie. You know, I haven't seen enough yet to know. I've only seen a couple of still shots, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it is as good as it could be. Put it that way. And I do know, by the way, that there's a whole lot of people out there who absolutely hate Dune and everything about it. And I will say that as far as the book series goes, I read the first 4 books when I was a teenager. And so for me, at that time, I'm only left with the impressions I had from at that time. Sometimes things don't hold up.
Yeah.
As we know from going back and watching,
all kinds of movies, yeah.
Or the $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
See, you don't go back and watch the shows of your childhood.
Don't do it.
You'll ruin your own childhood. But my memories of Dune and stuff were that the first book was quite good, and it basically went downhill after that. The first trilogy was all right. It ended weirdly, and it just kind of went off into weird places after that, and I didn't try to keep up after that. So that's kind of my bigger picture look at Dune. Did you ever read the book?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were interesting. There were interesting points being made about it, and of course it was written during or I think having to do with something to do with the spice in the books was an allegory for the oil crisis.
Oh, okay.
If I remember right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Frank Herbert is my great uncle. Damn.
Wow.
Cool, man. Oh, okay. TJ Feeney asks, where does Scientology fall when it comes to suicide? I think they know they're above mental health issues, but wouldn't they also believe you would just pick up a new body and carry on? Where do they stand on it? It's considered unethical. It's considered giving up. It's considered basically being the ultimate victim. And you remember, Scientology hates victims. They hate being down tone, right? Like plummeting down the tone scale of emotions. And remember that body death is on that tone scale. It is at 0.0. There are tones below it for you as a spiritual entity, but above 0.0, you have, failure and apathy and grief and loss. And, oh, hey, thanks for that super chat, Bert. So it's a very down tone, misemotional, bad thing to do or to go to that area when you should be organizing and setting yourself up and your life set up so that you can succeed, not fail. So I think Scientologists would consider it the ultimate failure, the admittance of ultimate failure to suicide. And with that question, we have just made sure that this is demonetized, but it's okay. It's a good question, and I wanted to answer it. So it won't be demonetized. It'll be limited ads.
Someone was saying that they're having trouble when you turn your head hearing you.
Oh, okay. I'll try to keep the mic more front and center here. All right. Jeff Scott asks, when I was in the Sea Org, did I ever meet Slappy? David Miscavige.
Oh, okay.
They call him Slappy Miscavige.
Slappy.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. He does like to hurt people.
He does. Yes, I met him 3 times. I was briefed by him for a few days in a room full of people who were being briefed. That was the first time I had anything to do with him. And then another time I had a correspondence with him after he popped in and did a surprise inspection of the CLO where I worked. And he made a recommendation to me about my training, and then he and I corresponded about that because I had some questions about it. And then I passed him in the hall one time. Another time he was on the base doing an inspection. All right, R2 wins every time. That's right. He even had a stick fight with Yoda. That's right.
Well, there's been like a lot of comments about Seven on here. Should I grab him?
Yeah, go get him. Absolutely. I'll answer the next question here. Do Scientologists have a hard time, this is Sean O'Callahan asking, do ex-Scientologists have a hard time letting go of beliefs such as gay people being bad? Chris, did you struggle with letting go of thinking gay people were immoral or wrong? You know what is so funny, Sean, is you need to subscribe right now to my Critical Clips channel. Because I literally 2 days ago posted the clip of the answer to that question on my Critical Clips channel. So go look it up, go subscribe to it. There's a link to it probably below in the description of this video. And otherwise, just search Critical Clips on YouTube because my answer is there. And yes, it was hard. And it was something I had to deal with. And people do sometimes struggle with that when they come out of Scientology. All right. Thanks for all that new information. You are welcome. Cool. Seeing the Steve. Oh, yes. Okay. JB on the Streets is asking about the Steve Fisher video. I think you actually mean the Steve Fishman video. Oh, yes. Okay. I think I got that super chat. All right. Anyway. I've commented on the Steve Fishman video. The guy's a con artist. He's in jail. And yeah, he really took a lot of people for a ride. That's with those videos. Will you Neon Cat asks, will you ever interview Mark Ebner? That's a good question. I should reach out to him. That's a good point. NC asks, do we know whether there are any Scientologists on Clearwater City Council? There are Scientologists on the Downtown Development Board. Uh-oh. Somebody's coming in here, and he's struggling. This cat is the most camera-averse cat. I swear to God. Look at this. Look at this struggle. The struggle is real.
Yeah. Hey.
Come on, buddy. Oh, poor guy. He's just... And the funny thing is, he's always sneaking into this room.
Yes.
When we're not doing this, he can't get enough of this place. He's in here all the time. I have to literally keep the door closed to keep him out of here. But you turn the camera on, you can't find him anywhere. I'm thinking, let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking of setting up a separate 7 cam.
Yeah.
So we can just kind of have a camera on him in the living room so y'all can just kind of see him sitting around over there while we're doing our live streams. All right. So no, I don't think that there are any other Scientologists on the Clearwater City Council, if I remember right, but they are on the Downtown Development Board. Do I think JB on the Streets asks, do you think Mark Bunker will ease off on Scientology so he can't be accused of being a bigot? No, I do not think Mark Bunker is going to ease off on Scientology at all. And I wish him nothing but success in changing the minds of the other Clearwater City Council members so they get on board. Okay, Doom novels. No, I've not read the Doom novels. Okay. Yes, the Clearwater City Council has too many missed withholds, obviously. Yes, Preacher, you just nailed it. Okay. Bizarre. Do. Any thoughts on my Scientology movie? Oh, Sean. Yeah. Hey, man. You need to check out my channel. I think you're kind of new here. I not only have some thoughts about Louis Theroux's My Scientology movie, I did a whole movie review of it. So check out that video on my channel because I had a lot of thoughts about it. And it's kind of nuanced. Actually, again, I don't want to just try to summate it into two sentences here. It was a good effort, but check my movie review on that. Oh, here's a question for you, babe.
Oh.
Abe S asks if I'm a good cook.
Yes. I do like his cooking. I like the recipe we did of Carolyn's too. That was really good. I like your steaks.
Yes. Yes. A friend of ours, the woman who, the couple who catered our wedding, has started a YouTube channel.
Quarantine Cooking with Carolyn.
Yes. So, so you can look that up. But she's doing recipes like almost every day. She's putting a new video up, and she did these what was that? It was
some kind of
Parmesan pork tenderloin.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, so tasty. Okay. Okay, let's see here. John Coleman. How do people like Chick Corea and other high-profile Scientologists still use Scientology when they know of all the abuses that are going on? They don't know about all the abuses going on, John. That's the key to this, is that they are kept in a bubble and they keep themselves in a bubble. And any abusive behavior that is reported on is nothing but a pack of lies. David Miscavige never did that. L. Ron Hubbard was a great man. How dare you tarnish his good name? I won't hear anything else about it. That's how they deal with the criticism and content that we've been putting out there about Scientology so they can stay in the headspace. And Chick Corea is OT8. He's at the top of the bridge. I mean, the guy is all in and has been for decades. So they just don't pay any attention to Scientology criticism. And they don't know about all the abuses. Neon Cat, which actor was your favorite Batman?
That's hard. I mean, probably Christian Bale was the best. But I mean, I will always have a special place in my heart for Michael Keaton. And of course, Adam West, because you just can't have Batman without Adam West.
I don't particularly have such generous opinions of Adam West.
It was so much fun. I mean, it was a silly, ridiculous show.
Yes, I was an evil child. I actually wanted him to get caught and killed by the bad guys on the old original Batman. I was bad. But I would say my favorite actor is absolutely Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I think he has done. I think the Christopher Nolan Batman movies
They're the best.
Yeah, they are the definitive Batman movies. All right. Do you have more to say about that?
No.
Okay. We're really big on Batman here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, real big.
It'd be harder for me to say who's the better Joker, though. That would be. I don't know.
Oh, I'll fight you on that one. I definitely think Heath Ledger was.
Really, you think he was the best? Okay.
I do. I mean, we just watched the original 1989
Batman a little while ago. Yeah, it was great to watch.
Because it's
see
out
how
of frame.
bad it is. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's out of frame here. But we got the Lego 1989 Batmobile. It's huge. I'd pick it up, but it's huge. And then we watched the show, the 1989 Batman again, and it can't be a little silly.
Oh yeah. Fun but silly.
Jack Nicholson was just so over the top. He was so good.
He was great.
He was so good. But Heath Ledger was just next level.
Yeah, he nailed it.
He just, I mean, and it's just taking everything that character is and putting it there. It's just no other.
See, you didn't see
like
a lot of the animated stuff where Mark Hamill was playing the Joker.
That's true.
That's pretty amazing stuff too.
That's true. I do need to see that. All right. Okay, let's see here. JB on the Streets asks, did you give a percentage of your RPF wages towards DM's birthday present?
Oh God.
No, as bad as it got on the RPF with or in the Sea Org with having to give money to David Miscavige's birthday, when we were on the RPF, we were getting 11 or 12 bucks max a week because it's quarter pay. And even in the Sea Org, they had the good sense to not ask us about birthday presents for COB. But now I'm sitting here hesitating because I do remember a collection being taken up for the RPFIC's birthday. And maybe some people donated towards Miscavige's birthday, but it wasn't mandatory. That's what I remember about that. Yeah, so even on the RPF, we were being asked to donate money to birthdays. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to, I'm skipped down to the end. Oh, here we go. Okay, good. And, oh, JS, super chat. Thank you, man. Or woman, I don't know who JS is, but thank you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, we are going into our, we have finished an hour here, so we're going to take like 1 or 2 more questions and we're going to wrap up, folks, okay? Getting a lot with Scientology promo, good. Oh, okay, here's a question from ex-Scientologist. I've noticed that I've been getting a lot less Scientology promo materials and letters lately. Why do you think this might be? Are there less staff because of COVID-19 doing mailings? Probably less money for them to be sending out mailings. I think that's going to be an issue for them. That's always a factor. I don't know if you're getting your mailings from international or from the local organizations. You might be getting less because the local orgs are battening down the hatches a bit with without money for promo. That's a guess. Yeah. And also sometimes it's kind of funny. Sometimes in the world of Scientology, stuff stops happening not because of a lack of resources monetarily or even materially, but just because the guy who was doing that job got busted and he hasn't been replaced yet. That happens too. So could be a number of reasons for that. Okay, money making scam, narcissistic supply. Oh yeah, sure. Smash his name into history. Oh yeah, as far as the thing about L. Ron Hubbard's intent, let's go ahead and end on this one. Let's make sure I've got everything else here that I wanted to get. I'm going to miss a lot of your questions, guys, because I know I've been taking some time to answer some of those earlier ones. But let's wrap up with this, which is L. Ron Hubbard absolutely, positively wanted to smash his name into history, and his version of immortality was getting his name remembered and emblazoned in every piece of paper and, you know, stone monument and everywhere else he could get. You know, his name was going to be remembered forever in history. That's what he wanted. And Scientology did become the vehicle that he used in order to achieve that goal, or try to achieve that goal. Because, of course, you know, L. Ron Hubbard's not going to be remembered in history the way other famous, really, you know, laudable people are. Few generations from now, nobody's going to remember L. Ron Hubbard. But that was the goal, absolutely. But Scientology was developed to enrich him, to empower him, to give him all the power and glory that he thought he deserved. And that it also became the vehicle for him to achieve his immortality was, you know, big bonus for him. But in terms of talking about Scientology as to what it is, you know, it's a little difficult to explain all that. Oh, well, L. Ron Hubbard, he wanted to smash the name into history and be immortal, and so he developed this church, and da-da-da-da-da, boo-boo-boo, ba-ba-ba. It's a lot easier and really more directly to the point of what Scientology actually does to just say, look, it's just a money-making scam. You know, it's not disingenuous. It's not a disingenuous statement. It's a wholly accurate statement. But you're right. It doesn't necessarily, you know, incorporate all of what L. Ron Hubbard intended with Scientology. So that being said, no love for Jared Leto's Joker.
I don't think it was his fault, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was not his fault, but at the same time. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming around and being part of this. We had a lot of fun talking to you guys. and answering all those questions. I hope those were good answers for you. And thank you for your super chats. Please subscribe to this channel and the Critical Clips channel if you're not subscribed to that, because I tell you, there's some good stuff coming out on that Critical Clips channel almost every single day. Every day that I'm not doing a video on this channel, I'm posting a Critical Clips channel, posting a clip there. So that's how that works. So 7 days a week, you're getting some Chris Shelton. and you know, Melissa kind of puts up with that. Maybe other people want that too. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for coming around, guys, and we will see you guys. Oh, Tuesday, I am doing a special live stream right here with Seth Andrews. So that'll be at 10 a.m. my time on Tuesday. I will get some more announcements out about it, but that will be happening. All right, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.